Hello, everyone. Welcome to the EJG3 show. I am your host, Eddie Gallagher. On today's episode, I am going to be discussing who are the top 10 teams in the NFL heading into week two. Also, what are the top five games, in my opinion, that I'm looking forward to watching this weekend? And also, let's talk about Thursday night football. Is Tua under the most pressure? We'll discuss that all on today's episode. All right, so let's start off with this. The top 10 teams heading into week two. Number one, I got the defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. I thought they really looked good versus the Ravens. You saw Xavier Rice, Travis Kelce. They just have a lot of weapons around Patrick Mahomes. You saw him completing easy throws. I thought their defense looked sharp, and I thought they outplayed a Ravens team that is good on defense, and you also have to worry about Lamar's running ability. I thought they really locked down the Ravens Thursday night, and I was just impressed how sharp they were in week one because a lot of teams were not that sharp. Number two, I gotta go with the Lions. I was very impressed with how the Lions ran the football in overtime. I thought the Lions offense didn't play great, but Goff made good timely throws. He only made one bad mistake, the turnover, the interception. Um, Obviously we know he can't move. Um, but I think the way he throws the football, checking it down, the play action pass, I think the Lions are the second best team in the NFL. But I also was kind of impressed with the Lions defense. I mean, Matthew Stafford uh is to me a top five quarterback. Hold him to 20 points. Obviously, Nakua got injured, but holding the team to 20 points, that's impressive. And the Rams will score a lot of points this season. So I was very impressed with Lions. Number three, the 49ers. Uh, they're this close being the second best team in the NFL according to me. But obviously, no, I was very impressed with the running game. Kyle Shanahan can really call good offensive plays. Obviously, week one, the Jets had no answer for the running game, and I thought Brock Purdy had good throws. Now, I believe Brandon Ayuk will get better. I think he was a little rusty. You saw him miss an easy catch in the end zone. But I think the 49ers, as a collected group, looked really impressive against a Jets team who I believe is one of the best defenses in football. And I just thought the 49ers really took control of that game. And obviously, holding Aaron Rodgers to 21 minutes. Yeah, I mean, that's impressive. Controlling the clock, controlling the ball. I mean, and that's why they really beat the Jets handedly. Uh, Number four, I got the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud is just that dude. I saw Stephon Diggs played really good with two touchdowns. I think he's going to be an end zone target for them. Now, the defense, a little shaky, but Anthony Richardson, he's a running quarterback. You have to take that into account. Shaden second Colts is a good offensive coach. So we knew he was going to be creative. But I just think Houston Texans, they have too many weapons. Uh, Joe Mixon running the ball 30 times. I just thought that was an impressive performance by the Houston Texans. Going on the road and facing a divisional rival. I thought that was impressive. I thought they were physical. They scored a lot of points. And obviously, we kind of ex- thought the CJ Stroud was going to take a downfall. No, 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 no. He's going to be rising to maybe close to an MVP. But I think the Houston Texans are good. I think they're dangerous and possibly be 2-0 this week. We'll see. Number five, I think going to Brazil was a tough place. I got the Eagles. Traveling to Brazil, we didn't know what the Nick's situation with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. I thought the offense was clicking. Rough start in the beginning, but really clicking after those two first drives. They settled in. They ran the football. Saquon Barkley was you saw it was a great addition, and obviously wideouts Devontae Smith, AJ Brown. Uh, Now the defense, it did give up a lot of points, but they faced a great offense, a good quarterback in the Packers and Jordan Love. I was very impressed with how the Eagles performed, and now they face the Atlanta Falcons on Monday night. Number six. This is not the standings, by the way. I got the Ravens still. Um, Lamar Jackson. I think he'll clean up his throws. I think the Ravens defense, they did an okay job versus Patrick Mahomes, but I think they're still getting their legs. I think they're still a dangerous football team. I really do think the Ravens need to use Derrick Henry a lot more. Obviously, he didn't get a lot of touches because I think they were down way too much, and that was not great. But I also believe those 3rd-and-1 situations. I think the Ravens are going to be lights out. They're probably going to make first downs most of the time. I like the Ravens at number six still. I think they're still a good team, even though they did go 1. That don't matter in my list. They looked impressive. And you know what? At least they came back. They fought, which tells me a lot about your football team because they could have easily gave up in that game. Number seven, I got the Buffalo Bills. I thought Josh Allen was the second best quarterback that weekend behind Patrick Mahomes. I think he was impressive. A little slow start in the beginning. You had a fumble on your opening drive. I thought, oh my gosh, is this going to be like the Jets from last year? Just him turning the ball, being erratic. But he really settled in, made good timely passes to um, the Hollins. I wish they uh, got Dalton Kincaid a little bit more touches, but I think he's also still getting his legs. I thought he ran okay, not great, but and the defense was a little shaky. I admit, but you have a new secondary in there, uh, but it, Buffalo Bills, they're dangerous if they get rolling. So but I also want to see this week. Hey, the secondary. Hey, the wide receivers. How about you step up? Because this cannot be a Josh Allen team. They gotta not have him be the whole offense. Uh, Number eight, I got the Dallas Cowboys. I had them outside of the top 10 because I didn't know uh how they were going to look. Um, I thought Dak Prescott played an unbelievable job. Obviously getting paid right before the game. Uh, I think you had great defense getting after Deshaun Watson. Obviously, I don't want to discuss about Deshaun Watson right now, but I think the Cowboys can be a good, dangerous team. Obviously, they got to get more wide receivers besides CeeDee Lamb involved. Uh, but I think the Cowboys are the eighth best team in the NFL. Shocker. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think I think this team is good. I think we think, oh, Baker Mayfield, not a great quarterback or a good quarterback. I think he was very impressive versus the Commanders. Um, I thought the Bucks defense was good. Obviously, you're facing a rookie quarterback. We know he struggled, but I was. I mean, they still have weapons. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. They're still a dangerous team. They lost to the Detroit in the divisional round, and so I think this Buccaneers team can be good. I still like Atlanta to win the division, but I think the Buccaneers really showed me something in week one. I was so impressed with this team in week one, even though they lost. I still got the Rams at number 10. The Rams to me, their defense without um couple DBs. I thought Nakua injury that didn't help. Uh, I thought Sean McVay and Cooper Cup and Matthew Stafford had an unbelievable day game planning for that game and also executing. I mean, taking that Lions team in overtime on the road, week one, is impressive. I really think the Rams are going to be dangerous, and I do believe they're going to be a really good team going forward when all the guys get healthy. All right. So top five games that I'm looking forward to in week two. Uh Number one to me is the Bengals versus Chiefs. You have Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes. I want to see if Joe Burrow bounces back. He had an ugly performance um versus the Patriots. I feel like when you get embarrassed, you really start ramping it up. Hey, this is a must win game because you don't want to start 0-2. Um, I hope T. Higgins can play. I expect he will play. And I think Jamar Chase will have enough practices in him just to get his legs back in shape. Um, so I am really looking forward to that game. Number two, Tampa versus Detroit. Baker Mayfield. Can he go in to the Lions' den and pull out victory? This will show me a lot who this Buccaneers team is. Because we all know the Lions are a top four team, at least in my opinion. So I want to know, hey, who is this Tampa team? Can Baker Mayfield be that guy? Not just, you know, a top 15 quarterback. Can he be a top 10 quarterback? So I'm really looking forward to seeing what uh Baker Mayfield does. And I think they lost by 8 in the divisional round. So they weren't totally out of that game. So I think this will be a close game. I still think the Lions will pull it out, I believe, but we'll see. Uh, but yeah, it's a fascinating game for me. Number three, you got Caleb Williams versus CJ Stroud, Bears versus Houston. Um, Obviously, we know Caleb Williams did not play well in week one. I want to see, can he bounce back? What does his progression look like? Um, Obviously, week one, the nerves are a lot higher than game two. Um, so I think the Bears defense was good. Can he stop CJ Stroud? I'm not sure, but because Houston's offense looks unstoppable. I mean, they were just driving on the Colts almost every time. Uh, but I think that's a fascinating game. Rookie versus year two quarterback. So I think that's Sunday Night Football. Also, millions of people will finally tune into uh, the Chicago Bears because everyone will put that Tennessee Bears game in the corner of your TV. At least for me, it was because to me it just wasn't a big game. But this right here, Houston versus Bears, that's a huge game. I'm really looking forward to seeing. Hey, can the Bears compete with a solid, good team in the Houston Texans? Number four, Cleveland versus Jaguars. I know we are saying Cleveland. How are they watchable? It's not really Cleveland that I want to watch. I want to see what Trevor Lawrence does. What a poor performance in the late second half against Miami Dolphins. I think you have two teams that are 0-1 trying to fight for maybe that last playoff spot. If they are playoff teams, I mean, we know Jaguars and Cleveland, they were in the playoffs a few years ago, and we think Trevor Lawrence could be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. So I'm really looking forward to that game. Hey, how can Cleveland defense bounce back? And obviously, it's in Jacksonville, so it's going to be humid, hot. Can they take advantage of that? We'll see. So I think that's a really interesting game. Obviously, uh, number five, I think this is going to be a must-watch game. Thursday night football, Bills versus Miami. I think the pressure is totally on Tua. So they have Tua and Josh played 7 games head to head. Tua has one win, 61.1 completion percentage, 207.7 yards per game, and 6 to 7 touchdown interception ratio. Josh Allen is 6 wins, 68.4 completion percentage, 290.7 yards per game, and 19 to 4 TD interception ratio. So obviously Tua has been awful for the Bills, but the Bills have a new secondary, they have a new defense. Can he take advantage of that? Can Josh? How's his uh wide receivers developing? Week 2, we don't know about his left hand. I think that's an important game in the division. We saw these teams in week 18. Bills narrowed, got a narrow victory. So I want to see how this game unfolds. I think Tua has all the pressure. Like I said, you have Tyreek Hill, you have Jalen Waddle. I believe you have a running back that will be out. I forgot his name, but I think Mostert will be in. But Mike McDaniel, good offensive coach. Obviously, disadvantage could be, hey, in Miami, but it's a night game. Is that really a factor? So I think this game's interested. Um, and I think also Josh Allen, can he get the ball to Dalton Cave? I mean, he only had one reception um, in week 1. So I'm really looking forward how these two match up. I know they play each other in week 9, but I do think this is a must win for the Miami Dolphins. Sorry about that. Because we know the narrative that they can't beat playoff teams. If they can't beat a Bills team that's still trying to figure it out, that is very concerning. So I think the pressure is all on Tua and the Miami Dolphins. Now, there's other games, for sure. Dallas Saints, that's interesting to me, but I really think those 5 games are the most interesting games in week 2. But I think that Bengals Chiefs game, if the Bengals don't win that game, what's the narrative going to be about Joe Burrow? Seriously, would he still be considered that top guy? I don't know. I mean, you gotta show me results. I mean, I get it. He went to the Super Bowl, but it's been a while since you played health, since you were healthy and you were excellent. Um, Also, the Colts Packers game. Hopefully, we don't know if Jordan Love is ruled out, but I think that could be an interesting game. I think the Colts are fighting for a position spot, playoff position spot. Packers, if Jordan Love misses time, could they fall out of the playoff race? So I really think that's an interesting game. Um, yeah. I don't have Miami in the top 10. I don't have um yeah, I really don't have Miami in. I gotta see it to believe it. If they're a top 10 team. If you're putting the Chargers in the top 10, I don't know what you're seeing. They played a bad Raiders team. So I think the pat I think I'm sorry, I think the Chargers will smoke the Panthers this weekend. But hey, Jim Harbaugh and Herbert, I think they're still figuring it out. So I think this is going to be an exciting week too. Can't wait for it. Uh, yeah, hope you like this show.